Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the complex world of business one filing at a time. Today we are looking at Perfect Moment Ltd, a company that just dropped a rather interesting report. This is a current report, a Form 8K, which is filed when specific significant events happen. Think of it as a company's way of making a timely announcement to the public about something important that just went down. Now, this particular filing from Perfect Moment Limited isn't about a major new product launch or a dramatic takeover. Instead, it is focused on their financial results. Specifically, they are sharing their earnings for the third quarter of their fiscal year 2026, which ended on the 31st of December of 2025. The date of this report is the 12th of February 2026, and that is also the date that the company announced these financial results. It is like getting the score right after the game ends. For those keeping track of the company's stock, you'll want to know that Perfect Moment Limited trades under the ticker symbol PMNT on the NYSE American LLC. This is important because public companies have to share this kind of information with investors. Now, what is really interesting about this filing is that Perfect Moment Limited is indicating they are an emerging growth company. This usually means they are a smaller company that is still growing and might have some flexibility with reporting rules compared to bigger established corporations. They also checked a box saying they are electing not to use the extended transition period for complying with new or revised financial accounting standards. This means they are choosing to adopt newer accounting rules sooner rather than later. It suggests a desire for transparency and perhaps a move towards parity with larger companies in their financial reporting. This is where the meat of the report lies. Perfect Moment Limited issued a press release on the 12th of February 2026 to announce their financial results for the third fiscal quarter of 2026. This press release is included as part of this filing, which is standard practice. Anything in this section, item 2.02, and the attached press release is considered furnished rather than filed. With the CC, this distinction is a bit technical, but essentially it means it is being provided for your information, but the company isn't taking on the same level of liability for it as they would for a formally filed document under certain sections of the securities laws. It is a way to share information quickly without triggering all the legal obligations of a full filing. This section, Regulation FD Disclosure, essentially says that the information we just talked about in item 2.02 is incorporated here as well. Regulation FD stands for Fair Disclosure. It is a rule designed to prevent companies from selectively sharing important information with just a few people, like certain analysts or investors. Everyone should get the same information at the same time. Similar to the previous section, any information shared here is also considered furnished, not filed. This is a common way for companies to ensure that any material information shared in a press release or during an investor call is made available to all investors simultaneously. And finally, we get to the exhibits. This is where you'll find the actual press release that contains the financial details. Think of the exhibits as the attachments to the main report. Here we see Exhibit 99.1, which is the press release dated the 12th of February 2026. This is where we can dig into the actual financial numbers that Perfect Moment Limited is sharing for their third quarter of fiscal year 2026. And Exhibit 104 is the cover page interactive data file, often referred to as IXBRL, a machine-readable format for the filing. Now let's get to the core of what this report is about, the financial results. While the filing itself doesn't contain all the detailed financial tables we might see in a full 10Q or 10K report. The press release it references is meant to provide the key highlights. Unfortunately, without the actual content of Exhibit 99.1 directly in front of us, we have to interpret what this filing signals. It signals that the company released its quarterly earnings and is sharing that information publicly. Often these press releases will highlight revenue growth or decline, profitability, earnings per S-hair, and sometimes forward-looking guidance. For example, if a company reports a 10% increase in revenue, that means for every dollar they made last year, they are now making $1.1 this year. Conversely, a 10% decrease suggests for every dollar made, they are now only making 90 cents. The fact that they are an emerging growth company and have elected not to use extended transition periods suggests they are likely aiming for a higher level of financial reporting transparency and perhaps looking to appear more mature and trustworthy to investors. Looking at this filing broadly, Perfect Moment Limited is playing by the rules, informing the public about a key event, a quarterly earnings announcement. The absence of deeply detailed financial tables within this 8K itself means they are relying on that separate press release to convey the critical numbers. From a Warren Buffett perspective, we are looking for companies with strong fundamentals and clear growth trajectories. This 8K filing is just the first step in understanding the company's performance. The real analysis would come from dissecting that press release and comparing the reported numbers to industry benchmarks and the company's own historical performance. Are they growing their top line? Are they managing their costs effectively? Are they increasing their profit margins? These are the questions we would be asking after reviewing the actual earnings figures. The key takeaway here is that Perfect Moment Limited has reported its Q3 FY26 results. The devil, as they say, is in the details found within that press release. Without those specific numbers, we can only infer the purpose of this filing, which is to disseminate financial information. Alright? That is our breakdown of Perfect Moment Limited's latest filing, focusing on the reason for its existence. What is your take on companies using 8K for earnings releases and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments if this analysis was valuable. Hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.